I was thinking about this professional negotiation I saw recently, where two firms were just in these constant small conflicts over sharing resources.
Okay.
Every single meeting was this zero-sum battle. And then they implemented one almost ridiculously simple rule.
Oh, is it?
They said, we start by trusting, but if you break a shared agreement this week, we automatically break the next one. It stabilized the whole relationship almost overnight.
That's a perfect lead-in.
It really is. And that brings us to our deep dive today. Tit for tat. Tit for tat, or TFT. It sounds like just raw equivalent retaliation.
It does.
But in the classic scenario for this, the iterated prisoner's dilemma, it turned out to be this stunningly simple path to long-term cooperation.
A massive amount of cooperation.
So our mission today is to figure out why this one strategy, first you cooperate, then you just copy your opponent's last move, why it just dominated Axelrod's famous tournaments. It beat out all these far more complex programs.
And what's so fascinating for you to grasp here is the deep implication of that. The success of TFT really runs counter to this expectation that rational actors will always choose conflict and self-interest.
Right.
It offers a really clear mechanism for how cooperative strategies could evolve naturally. Even in super competitive environments like early human societies or animal communities.
Okay, but doesn't that predictability make it easy to exploit? I mean, if I know you're always going to start nice, I can just defect on the first move, take a big payoff, and then I'm gone.
That's the critical misunderstanding of it. TFT is so robust because it balances four traits. First, it is nice. It always starts with cooperation.
I'm showing good faith.
Exactly. But, and this is the key, it is also provocable. It retaliates immediately if you try to take advantage. So you can't really exploit it over and over.
Okay, so it has teeth.
It has teeth. It's also clear so the other player knows exactly why you did what you did. There's no ambiguity. And then, maybe the most revolutionary part is that it's forgiving.
Unlike something like Grim Trigger, right?
Yeah.
Which just defects forever after one mistake.
Precisely. The moment the other party cooperates again, TFT immediately goes back to cooperating.
Yeah.
That combination, an instant response paired with instant forgiveness, that's the bedrock of the whole system's stability.
Finding that optimal, clear strategy, whether it's in game theory or in business, it's all about clear analysis. It's about figuring out where simplicity can create that kind of systemic stability.
Absolutely.
Which is why this deep dive is powered by Embersilk. If you need help with advanced AI training, automation, or software development, or if you're just trying to uncover where intelligent agents could make the biggest impact for your business, you should check out embersilk.com. They specialize in finding those optimal paths to progress.
A great fit.
So let's talk about the major problem with standard TFT, though, especially in the real world where things are messy, miscommunication happens. Let's call it noise.
Right, imperfect information.
Exactly. So if I try to cooperate, but you mistakenly read it as a defection, what happens?
Well, that single error can lock both players into an endless cycle, a death spiral of alternating defections. You defect, so I defect, so you defect, and on and on.
And the payoffs just plummet for both of us.
They plummet. The noise prevents you from ever getting back to that high payoff of mutual cooperation.
Yeah.
So, to fix this, researchers introduced generous tit for tat. GTFT.
Generous tit for tat. Okay, what does that generosity look like in practice?
It prevents that death spiral by vetting purposeful forgiveness. It still follows the standard rules, mostly. But if the opponent defects, GTFT will, with a small probability, say 10% of the time, choose to cooperate anyway.
So take a risk.
It knowingly takes a small risk now to break the cycle and get a huge system-wide payoff later. It just resets the whole game back to mutual cooperation, even when errors are happening.
That move from simple reciprocity to generous reciprocity, that feels like real progress. And we've seen it pop up in some of the most hostile environments imaginable.
Oh, absolutely. The classic case is the live and let live system that emerged on its own in World War I trench warfare.
It's just an incredible story.
It is. I mean, despite being in a state of total war, troops that were dug in just a few hundred feet from each other developed this unspoken understanding based entirely on TFT.
So if one side shelled the other at a predictable time, like during dinner,
the other side knew to retaliate, but immediately and minimally. Maybe they'd shell the same empty spot the next day. It was proportional. It was predictable.
But, and this is crucial, if a few days went by with no aggression, that truce was honored. Cooperation just emerged from this purely rational, iterative process. It shows that stability is always an option.
And if we connect that back to generous tit for tat, what does this mean for you, for all of us? It means we have to recognize that noise, that miscommunication, it's inevitable. It's going to happen in diplomacy, in AI interactions, everywhere.
So we have to plan for it.
We can choose to embed that small probability of forgiveness, that openness to re-cooperate into our own systems. If we program our agents to be resilient against error, we can stop conflicts from escalating indefinitely.
And that could solve some massive problems.
It could. That intentional mechanism for grace built right into the system, that's a truly hopeful path forward.
That is a profoundly optimistic thought to end on. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.